Yo, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. Let's go through. Let's look for some bets. College football, starts early tomorrow. So let's get some plays down. So I'm going to be using all the main sports books. I explain this in every video, but, depending on where you're located, you may use different sports books. I just try to focus on the main ones. So, like, this sports book is Fliff, and you can see it's legal. I mean, basically everywhere in the country. So it's a good book to have. It's a good book, that whatever we all can use. So what we can do is we can kind of start to look for some plays, on PrizePicks, on Fliff, all sorts of stuff like that. You can see PrizePicks has some discounts on Lamar Jackson. They just added this to a discount. So maybe we start out with PrizePicks, right? Let's look for some PrizePicks plays. So what we can do is we can head over to the Fantasy Optimizer. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe if you want to. We just hit a shit ton of bets. That's about all we do. Nothing super complicated, and we try to find some good plays out there. So obviously these promos are, this is the easiest money we're going to make sports betting is when they're giving you, 28-yard discounts. That's pretty damn good. College football, they got a discount on Caleb Williams. So we're going to look for some plays. And you can see this betting tool, the Fantasy Optimizer, the Odds Jam Optimizer. It doesn't really do anything complicated. All it's going to do is try to point out value in the market. PrizePicks has thousands of lines up. Underdog Fantasy has, tens and tens of thousands of lines up. If you just take a look, it's like there's limitless crap you can bet on, but most of this stuff sucks, right? It's not good enough. There's not enough value to, beat the vig, beat the juice, whatever. But like here, we found this discrepancy. It's like, oh shit, like this is crazy. This player glowing, his line is 29 on PrizePicks, 31.5 on Underdog, right? So what's great about esports, even though you may not watch esports, is there's just a lot of games. And that means there's a lot of surface area for sportsbooks to cover. They're all trying to set lines independently. This is Underdog Fantasy Esports. It's like there's literally limitless crap you could go with. So what you could do here is we could middle bet this, right? We could hit the over 29, the under 31.5. It's kind of like, buying a stock at 29, sell it at 31.5. So that's an option. But fuck that. Let's not do that. Let's just look for, some other plays. Damn, there are a lot of plays. So you can see there's a lot of esports line discrepancies, but what kind of sucks about esports is you just don't have a ton of data points, right? When you're betting on college football, here you can see on the positive EV tool, like there's tons and tons and tons of different sports books posting lines. So I have no idea what Fliff is doing here, right? You look at the Purdue spread. They have this plus 115. No other sports book really is even really giving us plus money. So this play is crazy. Plus 115 is crazy good value from the positive EV tool. So not doing anything complicated, just kind of pointing out value discrepancies in the market. So this play is really good, 6.32% profit margin. We don't want to miss that. So what I want to do is, some of these really good bets, they're not going to last forever. So let's try to move quickly. So we want Purdue plus 17.5 at plus 115, right? And again, the general concept of plus EV betting is pretty simple. It's, so this also makes no sense. Well, it kind of look at this. They're giving us better odds on the plus 17.5 than the plus 17. That doesn't make any sense, right? Like if Purdue loses by 17, this bet's going to cash. Plus 17 would push, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So this makes no sense, right? They're giving us better odds on the plus 17.5 than the plus 17. So they're clearly screwing up. And that's exactly what we want to see, right? We want to find spots where we have the edge as the sports bettor. So it's like, okay, like that seems great. Let's go with this. We can see, there's some value on the Bills point spread. I mean, minus 15.5 point spread favorites is crazy, but the Giants suck. They suck. And it's the entire team. It's the defense. It's the offense. I don't know how these guys get injured so quickly. They suck. But anyways, you can see there's a lot of good bets out there. But let's get back to PrizePicks. So maybe we just play this as a straight bet, whatever. Like clearly good value. We don't want the bet to go away. So I'll just hit it for, whatever I have remaining in my Fliff account. And Fliff is a great book to have. Again, the more books you have, the more promos. And you can see I got a ton of crap bet, so some parlays looking good already for this weekend. So we need the 49ers. We need Caleb Williams to go under. I mean, we need a bunch of stuff. And you can see here, I have Caleb Williams under 318.5 on Fliff. On PrizePicks, I did end up taking him. I did take him for the promo. You can see here, I have him over 274.5. So I have this nice little middle bet, right? If he has 275 to 318 yards, I'm going to win both bets. So what we can do is we can look for some PrizePicks plays and some Underdog fantasy plays. Clearly, there's some value on Underdog. But what we can do is let's just filter out esports for a minute or CSGO, because all these line discrepancies, it looks like only PrizePicks and Underdog are posting lines. So we'd probably want to middle bet that. So let's go back here. So here are all three of the discounts. You can see the fantasy optimizers just like, oh shit, you got to bet these, right? Caleb Williams, his line is 274.5 on PrizePicks. All the other books have him at, where do they have him? They have him above 300. So obviously this discount is a no-brainer. I mean, you have all these billion-dollar companies with sophisticated models, taking bets, moving their lines around, telling you he should be around 306.5. So that's obviously a play we want to go with, but I already bet it. So I'm not going to be able to rebet it. But you can see there's other good plays that we can go with, that we are going to go with. So the first play is Chris Moore over in field goals. So let's take a look at this play. Why is OddsJam recommending this play? Over in receptions, I apologize. And then we have Brett over 1.5 field goals. So why are these plays good? Why are they sharp bets? That's what we're kind of going to go through. So I'm going to lock in these two overs. And again, I follow a very data-driven approach. It never fails when you're following the data. So what we can do is we can just kind of take a look here. So if you look at which of these plays, it's all the same strategy, right? So let's just look at Chris Moore receptions in the Titans game. So let's head over to the Titans game. And again, even if you don't use all these sports books, even if you don't use Fliff, it's still a sports book with a model, right? You're not going to outmodel these books. Their full-time job is setting lines, right? So just betting with your gut, that shit doesn't work. So you're going to see on Fliff, Chris Moore is heavily favored to go over 1.5 receptions, right? He's minus 165 favorite. But it's not just Fliff, right? All of these other sports books, Barstool has him minus 160, Caesars, every single sports book has this guy, Chris Moore, heavily favored to go over 1.5 receptions. You got to remember on PrizePicks, the way to beat them is this is a platform where they don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. You always get the same damn 10x payout, right? Over, under, we always get the same payout. So the strategy for beating PrizePicks is you want to find spots where sportsbooks are telling you, yo, this over is really heavily favored. In this case, Chris Moore over 1.5 receptions. And PrizePicks has a lineup, right? All the books are telling us, yo, this guy is so much more likely to go over. So that's a great bet that we can go with on PrizePicks. And, I've broken down the math behind PrizePicks before. And essentially on PrizePicks, right, if you want to win on PrizePicks, all you got to do is be able to hit these player props above 54.25% of the time. And that's not easy to do, right? You got to win 55% of your over-unders. And I got some videos on YouTube about this. If you can win these over-unders like Michael Thomas, over-under 4.5, 56% of the time, only losing 45, you're going to be profitable. So what else do we want to go with? So we can take a look at this play. I mean, Sometimes there's more value in college football. Sometimes it's the NFL. So like here, it's like this player, Jabril Peppers, his line is 5.5 on PrizePicks. All the books have him at 4.5, DraftKings. So maybe that's a good play to go with. I mean, we have different options. And you can always skip over, like finding value, an edge is the key to beating these sports books, these fucking sports books. But regardless, you can always skip over certain plays if you just don't like them. So like here's another play that OddsJam is recommending. This looks really good. So we have Asia Wilson under 10 rebounds in the WNBA. So where is the WNBA? So let's check it out, right? I think we're in the finals for the WNBA. Is her line on PrizePicks is 10, right? DraftKings has her line, first of all, lower at 9.5, and they have her under favored, and so does FanDuel. FanDuel has her line at 9.5 with the under favored. Same with Golden Nugget. So it's like, what are they doing with her line at 10 when all the books have her, first of all, lower and they have her under favored? That seems like a good play to go with. Damn, you can see some MLB picks popping up. But the final play we can go with, obviously, Bo Nix is, pretty good. And you don't have to include this play. I know not everyone can bet college football depending on where you're located. But if you look at Bo Nix, all the books have him at like 285-ish. I mean, you have all these billion-dollar companies, right? They have better data feeds than you, models than you. They're taking bets, moving around lines. They all have the line significantly lower. So it's like, okay, this seems like a good play to go with. Bo Nix under 295.5. So now we have 5 picks with an edge. 5 really good picks that we can go with. I'm just making sure none of these picks are in the same game. And you'll see PrizePicks, I beat them up too bad. I've made too much money off them. They're only going to give me $10. Hopefully you can bet more. The max when you're using a discount is $5. So I guess I'm only going to be able to bet $5 on this. But whatever. Here we go. For NFL, WNBA, college football. It looks like the most random slip of all time. But if that's where the value is, I mean, that's where I'm going to be placing my bets. So next, maybe we go to Underdog Fantasy. We can take a look at Underdog. Damn, you can see there's some big arbitrage bets, stuff like that. But let's go to Underdog Fantasy. We got some good plays on PrizePicks. So let's go to Underdog, and let's just kind of take a look at these lines. And again, these esports plays, I mean, it just kind of sucks because there's not as many books posting lines, right? So we don't have as strong of confidence in our edge. But what we can do is we can kind of go here and we can just take a look. I mean, I'm sure we'll be able. There's always some good esports bets on Underdog Fantasy. So do I have it selected? And we can just kind of take a look, and hopefully we can find some good plays on Underdog, even if we have a few esports plays in the mix. So what I sometimes do, like this is a crazy discrepancy, 31.5 versus 29. But again, there's only a couple books posting lines. So that doesn't make us feel as good, as confident, in our bets. Whereas if we look at this player, Casson, Underdog Fantasy has her line at 32. This play looks crazy good, right? Like take a look at this play. Underdog has her line at 32. Her, his, I'm not sure. It reminded me of the name Cassie, so I guess that would be a girl. But Casson's line is 32, right? 34.5 on Jock Market, and it looks like there's different games tomorrow. These people go hard in esports. They have double headers all the time. But PrizePicks, right? Like everything's baked into the market. Lineup changes, where sharp action is coming in. Like if all the smart customers, PrizePicks knows which customers make money off them. If all the smart people start betting the over, they'll move the line higher. So everything is reflected in sportsbook odds, right? Like you can actually see, it's kind of interesting, but if you look at like the Rams game, the 49ers Browns game, is I have no idea what happened, but you can see the 49ers were minus 160 5 days ago. Very small favorites to win this game. I'm not sure what happened, but lines have just Now they're minus 500. Maybe it's lineup changes, like a lot of times you'll see in baseball, stuff like that. It's like when starting lineups come out, this affects the opposing pitcher. Whoever was pitching for the Dodgers, Lance Lynn, he fucking sucks. But when the official starting lineup comes out for the Diamondbacks, that affects, the Dodgers pitcher, his player prop lines. And you'll see lines move and good bets start to pop up. And you got to remember, all these books set their own lines. They all set odds, lines independently. So they all also have to update odds independently. So this seems like a great play to go with. But anyways, let's go back here. So this play looks great. We have this first play. So let's go back here. And you're not going to be able to play things in the same game. So we're going to have to skip that over. But there is always good CSGO value on Underdog Fantasy. So it's like this is crazy if you think about it. It's like a stock being $15 on E-Trade, $13 on Fidelity. It would be really easy to be a day trader. I used to be a trader. I wish markets were as stupid and inefficient as they are in sports betting. His line is 15 here, 13 on the other books. It's like this is a no-brainer. We want to take his under 15 headshots. Again, you could also middle bet this, and here's the play I went with again for the Tua discount. And maybe it's like, we got the Tua discount. That's great. But, let's get another play going on PrizePicks because the discount is, for me at least, is only for $5. So what we could do is we could go here, open up PrizePicks, and we can look for, another play that we can go with. So if we go back to PrizePicks, what we can do is we already hit these discount ones, is we can just be like, okay, let's find another play, let's find another play that we can go with. That's not a discount. So maybe we put in Peppers, tackle, and assists, right? So we can get rid of Bo Nix. Not everyone can bet college football. And then we can go here and we can take Peppers. All the sports books have his line, at 5.5 or 4.5. I apologize. We can take him under. We don't have any picks in this game already. There's no issues there. And again, PrizePicks is just going to give me really crappy betting limits. I beat him up too bad, so we're going to have to hit him for this, which is fine. So my big sweats for tomorrow aren't on PrizePicks. My big sweats are on, obviously, I'll take what action PrizePicks gives me. But my big bet for tomorrow, most of them are on WinBet. That's a sports book that still lets me, get down a lot of action. So I have Oklahoma State plus 150. That was a really good bet. Kind of caught them sleeping because if you take a look at the current odds, what happened in this game using Odds Jam, you can see all the other books have ripped this line down to plus 114, plus 126. DraftKings has this plus 114, minus 135. So I could even hedge on DraftKings and make a risk-free profit if I wanted to. That's called arbitrage betting, right? So WinBet, I have this bet at plus 150. DraftKings now has Kansas at minus 135, right? So I could hedge, bet minus 135, and make a risk-free profit of $191 if I wanted to. But I'm not gonna because I like my bet. But we have OK State, and then we have we have Kansas. So here I got them plus 150. DraftKings is minus 135. So this will only take 2 seconds, but we can go through the math quickly. This is called arbitrage betting. It's a betting strategy. And it's telling me to bet 43.08 on my hedge. So let's just say I do 4,300. And then there's 2 options. OK State's going to win or Kansas is going to win. And then this is between Win and DraftKings, right? So if Oklahoma State wins, I go up $4,500. I bet $3,000 at plus 150 odds. I lose 4,300 on DraftKings. I make $200. If Kansas wins, I lose $3,000 on WinBet. On DraftKings, I'm up 4,300 times 100 over 135. I'm up 3,185, 3,185. So that seems pretty good, right? I make 100, but I could hedge or not, but that's a betting strategy. It's how I started sports betting. It's called arbitrage. it's when you make risk-free money, taking advantage of these huge discrepancies in sportsbook odds. So like here, you could bet on Fliff and Caesars and make a risk-free profit in the Warriors game tonight because these books are so out of sync with one another. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. Turn this into $12 risk-free if you wanted to. So this play on Peppers looks pretty good. But what we can do is we can go back here and let's try to find some bets on Underdog Fantasy. So we can always just filter for one specific sports book. And we can take a look here too, because we're not done yet. And we got some good looking plays, but what do I want to go to? So we already have some PrizePicks. So let's go back here. Kind of getting all mixed up here. So the next play it's recommending is Zach Gallen over 14.5 outs. Again, PrizePicks gives us the same damn payout if we take him to go over or under. Can he get through 5 innings against the Phillies? So over, under, whatever you select, you're always getting a 6x payout. So the reason I play a lot of 3-pick entries on Underdog, but you'll never see me place one on PrizePicks, is if you look at Underdog, they give you a 6x payout for 3-pick entries. PrizePicks only 5x, so PrizePicks is kind of a ripoff. But if you look at this play on Zach, right, why is OddsJam, the positive EV tool, recommending this? Look at all the sports books. They all have him super heavily favored to go over. First game of the series, whatever. But he's super heavily favored to go over, so we're not going to take the fucking under. So we're going to take the over. That's the sharp bet we want to be on Underdog Fantasy. And then we have a little 3-pick entry right here. And then we can go back here. And again, it's not that I don't like this play, that I wouldn't bet more on it than $100. That's just the max bet size they gave me. So I'm kind of working with what I got. So next we can go here. We can go to Lux. Under 34.5, I think, is the play we want to go with. So CSGO, like, I don't really care what I'm betting on. If, there's an edge, I'll be there. 34.5, 37 on JockMarket, 36.5 on PrizePicks. Again, it's not like there's a ton of books posting odds, but still seems like a solid play to go with. The Zach Gallen play I already bet. Not going to be able to bet it again. That's just how PrizePicks works. So, it's not only like esports is probably the most profitable sport on Underdog Fantasy right now. These books, they just can't manage their lines. You look at Giraffe, his line is 17 on Underdog. It's 15 on PrizePicks. Underdog Fantasy employees are off for the weekend. They're clearly not managing their lines. So if we take a look here, it's like, okay, CSGO, I apologize. So let's go here. His line is 15 on all the other sports books, ParlayPlay, PrizePicks, all of them. So it's like, okay, that's a fucking no-brainer, right? So these plays are in the same game, so we don't want to take them. There we only have one data point, so don't really want to take that. Only one data point. Not exactly what we love to see. But we have NC over 32.5. And hopefully we can get an NFL pick in here. But you can see all the other books have her line at 34.5. His, her, I'm not sure. But there's a lot of esports line discrepancies right now. I mean, a ton. So we have Thielen over 5.5 receptions. So did we already go with this play? The only thing is, for me, I got to make sure I didn't already, go with the pick. So we haven't. So this play seems solid. And, we can take a look here. Here's a League of Legends play, right? Line is 5 on Underdog. And you start to get to know these players, and we'll always have some bad beats, but like 5, 4.5s across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4 data points, sports books with sophisticated models telling you, yo, this person's line should be lower. I got a nice little 5-pick entry on Underdog Fantasy that I can go with. And they already removed the play on Lux. Great. So you got to move quick. Again, if you check tomorrow, like the reason these good bets are available is these books clearly just dropped odds. So they're probably not going to be available, but I can just switch to another pick in the same game. But really, speed is important. I mean, I learned that when I was a trader, is you can't wait on the good trades, right? They'll disappear. Someone else, will take them, or you'll be too slow, and the value will go away in the market. So you want to get things ideally, quickly. Like as an example, is we're now down on this PrizePick slip, on a few PrizePick slips, to Kenneth Walker not scoring a touchdown. If you take a look at PrizePicks now, you may be like, oh, you didn't, that play's not available. And you're right, it's not available. Kenneth Walker to score a touchdown isn't here. But that's because it was really good and we bet it, right? And you can see here the strategy doesn't change betting on touchdown scores. This betting tool is called the OddsJam Sportsbook screen. And if we look at our boy Walker, he's heavily favored to not score a touchdown, right? Barstool minus 160. Not a bunch of books have unders. Minus 160, minus 165, minus 160. So that play's no longer available. So we're obviously happy, we got to that bet soon enough. So we can go back here and, oh, shit. Yeah, so maybe we call it a day for now. I mean, we got some good bets down on Fliff. There's some good arbitrage plays as well. Make some risk-free profits here on Hayden Hurst. Bet the over on FanDuel, under on Fliff. Make a risk-free profit of whatever your bankroll is, $5, $7. It builds up. But maybe we go with one more play. So we can take Alford, no touchdown. Not no touchdown, under in receiving yards. You can see that's an arbitrage to FanDuel. These sports books have his under pretty heavily favored. Or you could just, so that seems decent, but let's just call it a day for now. I'm pretty tired. So have a great one. Thanks for your time, and hopefully some of these plays win.